Hello guys, today we will see how to start competitive coding. Okay, so what is competitive coding? Competitive coding is a paradigm where you compete with others in a contest to, which contains a lot of problems, and you need to write a programmatic solution for those problems. And that is simply what competitive coding is. So that's it. And in competitive coding, it helps you learn to write more efficient code, which is more both memory and time efficient. Okay, if you do if you do a lot of contests, then you will learn a lot of different ways, because in the contest for each solution there is one time limit, and your code must run within that time and memory limit. Okay, there is one time limit and other memory limit is there. So each time you submit a solution for any problem, it is checked that it must run within that time and memory foundation. So if you do a lot of competitive coding, you will learn how to write more memory and time efficient code. So yeah, and in order to learn competitive coding, you must need to learn some important data structures and algorithms. Okay, there are few important data structures and algorithms which you must learn so that you can implement them to write good code, which which will give you a good rank in any coding contest. And in competitive coding also helps you to prepare for interviews also. Okay, if you go for any interview, you will find out that in interviews also they ask you some problems to write code for those problems, like some sorting, some searching type of problems, where you need to do few things with an array or a list or a string, or some bit manipulation is there. So these things are there in interviews. It's most commonly asked in interviews of most software development position, either it be a large organization or a startup. Everyone checks these skills. Okay, this also tests the problem solving skill of a candidate, as well as how efficient code they can write. So both these things are tested using these coding problems. So if you do competitive coding, you will become a good expert in solving these problems. And it also gives you a good idea of where you stand in the crowd. Okay, where you stand among in the crowd among a pool of coders around the world. Okay, there are a lot of coders around the world, so if you do competitive coding, you will know where you stand among them, and that gives a good motivation also. Okay, now let's see what are the various data structures which you need to learn in order to master competitive programming. So most commonly used data structures are arrays, linked list, heap. Arrays are like a list of numbers or whatever values it can be. Any data type it can be. It can be string, it can be another array. So a list of numbers is known as array. Linked list is I have explained in my videos what a linked list is. You can check out. Heap. Heap is another data structure which stores the largest in the top position. It's a tree type of structure where the largest number is stored on the top. Uh, then that way you can keep on iterating, and for each subtree you will find the highest number at the root in heap. Hash map is there. Hash map stores like uh, what is the frequency of each number or key and value, uh, for any given key, what is its frequency. So that way you can use hash map. Hash map is most commonly used to store few things about store a data. Okay, hash map stores a data in hash format, and you can search it in constant time. If you want to search that data in that hash map, you will get it in constant time. And we generally store the frequency or some associated data with that given data. Okay, so that we store in hash map. Then again, stack is there. Stack, it's a uh, last in first out LIFO principle. Whichever comes at the last, it goes out first. Means when we add element, we add at the last, and when we take out element from the stack, it comes out from the last. Okay, which at the last position. So whichever comes at the last will go out first. That is how stack works, and it is a very important data structure to solve a lot of problems. Okay, in like associativity problems, like if we give a summation or multiplication, division, these operations we are doing on a large number of operands, then operands are like variables, okay, which we define in any programming language. So when we are doing that type of operation, then stack is very useful to solve those things. The computer CPU solves everything using stack. Okay, those type of problems it solves using stack. And stack is also very useful when we are doing some sort of problems generally asked in interviews and in coding problems also, in competitive coding contests also. There are a lot of problems which where we need to implement stack in order to solve them. And yeah, one more, like uh, yeah, these are the importance of stack. And another is queue data structure is we can have like FIFO principle. It follows the FIFO principle. FIFO means first in first out. Whichever element comes first will go out first. And this is another data structure. It is also very useful. We can store a lot of elements in queue and pop them out and do a lot of operations using them. Then another data structure is binary tree. Binary tree is used to store a lot of values, data in a tree format. At the top there will be root node, then left child, right child, and similarly it will continue to go on. Then again we have tries. Tries is like an array tree when the root node have more than two nodes. Okay, so in tries also it's another data structure which is very useful. Then another data structure is segment tree. Segment tree is also very useful. And this is also similar to tree, but here this is especially for advanced topics. Some advanced problems need the segment tree. So that's it in data structure, guys. Now let's check out some important algorithms. There is now algorithms are like string and array manipulation algorithms are there, bit manipulation algorithms are there. In number theory there are a lot of algorithms like finding GCD number, LCM of two numbers. These algorithms are there. Then there is linear search algorithm. Linear search algorithm like traversing the list of numbers in a linear fashion. Then binary search is there. Then we have depth first search, depth first search, depth first search, then breadth first search. Yeah, these algorithms are there. This this helps us. Depth first search is a graph algorithm. It is a graph algorithm. Graph algo. And using depth first search, we can. You will learn what is depth first search. You can Google out what is depth first search. So these are the important algorithms. You need to learn depth first search, breadth first search, quick sort is there, merge sort is there, heap sort is there, recursion is there. You need to know how recursive programs works so that you can write good, efficient recursive codes. Then there is dynamic programming. Dynamic programming we generally do by in using arrays, like we make a table and we store values. That is how we do dynamic programming. Then again, other graph algorithms are there, like Prim's algorithm, Kruskal algorithm, Dijkstra's algorithm, etc. Okay, so these are basic. Just I have given you the names. You will find in my channel also there are a lot of videos I have put about these algorithms and these data structures. I have given a lot of examples, so you can learn from my channel, as well as you can Google it also. Google it out also. You will learn about this. So these, if you know these algorithms, then you will be pretty comfortable to do competitive programming. Okay. Now let's check out some competitive programming sets. So there is lead code is there, top coder is there, lead code is there, top coder is there, code chef is there, code forces is there, hacker rank is also there. So there are a lot of competitive programming sites where you can go and do competitive coding. If you are a beginner, I would suggest you go for code chef, because code chef you get the solutions very easily. Editorials are there, and a lot of other people's solutions you can find out easily in code chef. So you can go with code chef if you're a beginner. And lead code is also very good. In lead code you will find very good problems. So yeah, that's it. Now let's see some code examples. So let's check out a problem. This one I have opened lead code over here. You can see these are the problems you can see in lead code. You can see the difficulty type, what difficulty type problem is it, acceptance rate, and the problems which I have solved. Okay, so this asterisk marks, this tick mark represents that I have solved these problems. So I can see these many problems I have solved. So let's try out a problem. So let's try out easy problem, so that the beginners can understand also, like valid parenthesis. Okay, let's check out valid parenthesis. Yeah. So I have already written the code. This is the code. This is my code. Now what is the problem? Given a string containing just characters opening circular bracket, closing circular bracket, curly braces opening, curly braces closing, square bracket opening, square bracket close, and determine if the input string is valid or not. Okay. An input type is valid if open braces must be closed by same type of bracket, and open braces must be closed in the correct order. Okay. This is the condition for the string to be a valid type. So we just need to return true or false. Okay, over here. So you can check out some examples. So see, this one is false because it is opened by a circular bracket and closed by a square bracket. So it is false. Output is false. It is not valid. This one is also not valid. And the constraints is the length is between 1 to 10 to the power 4, and variable s string contains only these characters. Okay. And 1 million solutions have been accepted among 3,690,000 solutions. Okay. So let's check out. Let's see what we have to do. First, see, I told you about stack. So we have to define a stack over here. So in Python we can simply define a stack with a list. There is list. List is a predefined data type in Python. So this data type we define as stk stack. Now we iterate throughout the string by taking in each character c. So we have to c represent each character in s. S is the string which we have got as input, and if it is opening brace, then simply we need to append it. If whatever opening brace, this opening brace we are appending, this is also opening brace we are appending, this is also opening brace we are appending. Either it is circular brace or curly brace or square brace, whatever it be, we just need to append it to the stack. Okay. Now if it is a closing brace, then we will check two conditions. if the length of stack is equal to 0, or stack dot pop not equal to this opening brace. Okay, it must be equal to this one. Okay, if it is not any of these two, then we return false. Similarly, for others also we have done the same thing, you can see. Okay, so why we are checking length as 0? Because if there is no element in the stack, then there is nothing to pop. So this is a wrong starting of a, starting of a substring as a closing brace. Closing brace cannot start. Okay, if closing brace is starting a substring, then it will definitely be a wrong solution. So we're returning false for that, and we are checking this pop as this because if it is a circular closing brace, then it must be a opening opening circular brace, and if it is a closing curly brace, then it has to be opening curly brace, and if it is a closing square brace, then it has to be a opening square brace from in the top of the stack. Okay, otherwise we will return simply false. And this is one more else. This is to check if the character is anything apart from these 6 characters in this string, then I will return false. This is an extra check, you can remove this. This is not so important. And this is how we are printing, validating the stack. Now after throughout the string. Okay, now after coming out of it, if the length is still greater than 0, if the length is still greater, length of stack is still greater than 0, that means there are still some elements which hasn't been balanced out. Okay, so we will return false, because if it is not balanced out, that means it is not a valid string of brackets, so we return false. And now if the length is completely 0, and if these conditions were also not met during the iteration, and length of stack is also 0 after coming out of the loop, then we can definitely say that it is a valid string, so we return true. So let's submit this solution. Yeah, we got the solution. Runtime 32 milliseconds. We got it, successful submission. Yeah guys, now you can check the other tabs also. In the description, the problem description is there. In solution, you can see the solution is there, but you need to subscribe to the premium for this, I think. Yeah, for LeetCode premium you need to go. There is discuss section is there. Yeah, in discuss section you can do discussions you can do freely. So here you can ask anything regarding the problem or your solution. If it is not like simple stack explanation, somebody has given. He has given his YouTube video link over here. Okay. Yeah. So that's it, guys. This is a. I will show you one more. This is Codeforces. Yeah. Here you can check out problem sets. In problem sets, you will find a lot of problems. Here you can solve these problems. With these green ones, I have already solved. Okay. These green ones I have already solved. So, what do you think? Let's try a problem. The video will become too long. Let it be. So this is how you can solve, check out the problems in Codeforces and LeetCode. And CodeChef is also there. This is CodeChef. This is CodeChef. Here you can practice and learn. You should go to practice and learn, and like learn KCP, competitive program. Go over here, learn competitive program. Here lot of things they have given. They have also the subscription plan. Not to join subscription plan. This is Unacademy. It's open. Go to Coursera. Uh, Open this one. Uh, there are a lot of things over here. You can check out. Practice problem by difficulty level. Yeah, this one. This one you can try out. Here you can see lots of problems are there. Beginner, easy, medium, hard, challenge. These are the problems which you can find, and you will definitely learn a lot. Okay. CodeChef practice problems, you will learn a lot. So you can check out any of these platforms, Lead Code or Code Forces. Everywhere you can find a lot of challenging problems to solve, and you will definitely be very good in coding. So that's it, guys. Let's wrap up the video and have a good day. Bye.